Hello and welcome to ThePapare.com, where we look back at the weekend's action in the Singer Schools Rugby League. This is the breakdown with me and Sabir. Looking at the first match, we had St. Joseph's College taking on DS Serenak in a bottom of the table clash in segment 1A, and St. Joseph's running up the highest points so far this season, Sabir, with 80 points against DS's 7. 14 tries they scored. A brilliant performance from the Joseph's team, but a little bit too late for them in terms of staying up in the cup competition. They were leading by 36 points to nil at half-time, and the try scorers for them, Vinul Fernando, the man of the match with 4 tries, Gamanu Chethi also 4 tries, Ayomal Pereira 2 tries, Chatra Seneviratna 2 tries and 5 conversions, and Devon Fernando, the only forward getting in among the try scorers with 1 try, and for DS it was S. Ranga with 1 try, and that was converted by Hemasiri. So a good performance by the Joes, but they still go down into the plate championship.
Yeah, sadly they have no option because they must be absolutely gutted after the draw against Royal, because they could have won after leading that match. But it is a convincing performance, Shanaka. But what they might be looking at the next trophy game, perhaps with St. Peter's on the 14th, and probably they should win the plate title and keep in the 9th place at least, not to go to 12th. I'm sure they don't go to 12th. So brilliant performance, great comeback. That also we saw that the captain moving from centre to scrum half made a huge difference. Look at the numbers, all the centres and the fullbacks are running 4 tries each, so that sees the strength on that game, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they've made an important positional shift. They are bringing the captain back into the game, and of course St. Peter's, that match is a big one coming up. That will be played in a couple of weeks' time as well, so they can resurrect their season. I don't think they'll be all down and out if they manage to win that game and if they manage to win the plate, but it's important that they finish on a winning note.
Absolutely, they can't be too much complacent, but they still have a lot of work to do. And moving on to the next game, Shanaka, we had St. Thomas's versus Wesley College. 7-0 in the first half, and it was 19 points to nil. Wesley could not trouble the scoreboard on that occasion in a rainy mud condition, Shanaka.
Yeah, the game was actually a little closer than 19-0 suggests, Sabir, because I thought Wesley defended really well. Their defense only broke in maybe the 35th, 36th minute of the first half, when they had one of their players, Vimukti, actually sent off for a very harsh yellow card from referee Pradeep Fernando. But when the heavens opened after the first couple of moves, Dineru Ranavira just sliced open the Ethiopian defense on the left flank, and then the rains came down, and that's when the St. Thomas's forwards knew, okay, this is going to be our day, because they just reveled in the mud, and probably their best performance so far this season from the entire forward pack. Satish Jatilaka was outstanding, so was the front 5 as well, and I think they got that third row combination right with Ahangama, Delisle and Jatilaka instead of playing the 2 big boys in the third row, and that really paid dividends. And in the end it was just a break, and finally it was Sarit Nanyakara who went over in the corner after Ashwanta Herath had drawn a lot of the defense. But Wesley, it was just a really unlucky day for them. They lost Avanta early on, Lee Avanta, one of their key players who was a twin. And then they had lost another player with Vimukti going out, so it was a really unfortunate day for them as well. They lost Tariq Jurangpati as soon as he came on as well, so it was a day when nothing went right for them. They couldn't win a line out either, but I think holding St. Thomas's to 19-0 in those conditions, they'll be quite happy with that.
Indeed, let's have a look at the try scorers. It's Sharit Nanakara, Dion Dias, the little guy, and Sachida Jayatilaka rather. And Dias playing as scrum half and moving into the wing. He is like a utility player now. We saw him playing in the last year's Wesley game. He's the one who came in the last minute and scored that try.
Well, he seems to be their lucky charm against Wesley in this Oliver Gunithalaka trophy. But I thought that was a good move by Coach Laka to bring him in on the wing, because Ferdinando had been unconvincing, and he also needs the ability for someone else to convert. So if Ashwanta Herath is not on good kicking form, then Dias gives them that ability, and I think he was a little worried about Wesley. I think he knew that it might come down to the points game, so which is why he probably picked Dias, and I think Dias did enough to keep his place.
Indeed, and moving on to the next game, Shanak, it's the Bradby 72nd Bradby Shield encounter, the first leg. Of course, Royal winning a little, not really convincingly. It's 22 points to 17 after a very good performance in the first half, Shanaka. Let's have a look at the try score. It's Azmir Fajri, the hooker, scored 2 tries, and Janidu Dilshan scoring 2 conversions, and a penalty by Owen Haskey for the Royalist. And Trinity College Anjana Bandar and Dilishka Dange, the wingers, scoring tries and 2 conversion by Sanushka Bevikrama and a penalty by Lashin Vijay Surya. So things didn't go really well for the Trinity. They lost so many lineouts. The ball is wet, the condition is very poor, but Royal still mauled Trinity through their way.
I think the problem with the Bradby Shield, Sabir, is that both teams come in with their adrenaline so high that they don't play the first 5 minutes or the first 10 minutes with the proper intention of how they should be playing a rugby match. I mean, if they come into a different game, they would probably test out the opposition, maybe put the ball a little bit deep, see what the opposition are going to do. But here, both teams want to come out and make the first opening statement, which is why Royal were able to capitalize on an offensive error and score at the other end in less than 20 seconds. So that try, actually, when you come back to the final analysis, that try is what is the difference between Royal and Trinity in that game. So I think Trinity can, just go back to the drawing board and see if we do the basics right, will we be able to bridge this 5-point gap? But Royal, that's what they do so well. They do their basics all the time, and that's something that you can't beat them at.
Janil Dilshan scoring in the 45th second, probably that is the fastest in the Bradby history. And also, Shanaka, that try made Trinity fans a pin drop silence on that day. This is what happens when the forwards try to offload and the pass. They have to make accurate. Dilshan was spotting that pass and he was sneaking through and try time, so no chances. Sometimes forwards has to be smart enough to go into the contact and do according to their strength rather than going to the poor passing.
Yeah, I watched them the week before, Sabir, and their front five or even their entire forward pack didn't look like they had the skills to be able to do that. Whereas you take the Thomian forward pack, you know all of them can make those short passes. But when you go and try something in a game that you haven't been doing at practice or you haven't been doing regularly throughout the season, especially when it's a big game and you try it out, then that's when things are going to come awry for you. And the part of discipline, Sabir, a lot of people think discipline is the ability to do something and like to keep at it, but discipline is also knowing when not to do something. So that's where I think Trinity may have lost the plot in the opening stages of that game, but they did well to come back. But I think Royal will just, if you allow Royal in front, that's going to shut you out. They play rugby like Chelsea play football. They will just shut you out and will not get another opportunity at all. So they could have held on to that 5-0 lead if they wanted to, and that's the way they play.
Yeah, they played to their strength. Every time when they go for a breakdown or a set move, I see Lennox at the fly half. It's just coming in, staying like a statue, and he's not getting the ball. Maybe twice he got the ball and once sent to Askey and he made a territorial kick. Looking at the numbers, Shanaka, 16 scrums, 27 lineouts and 25 kicks on play, and referee played 16-time advantage. So Dinka Perez did control well, but looking at these stats, Shanaka, the playing time is so little.
Yeah, the playing time is very little, and I could have told you this before the game actually happened, because referee Dinka is a guy who likes to stop-start games, so this was always going to happen, and it's surprising that it happened despite advantage being played all that time. So it means that the teams are not good enough to actually play on that advantage and make breaks as a result of that. Royal, because that's not the game they play, and Trinity, because they're just not skilled enough, I think. So Trinity have to do a lot of work before they get out in the park. Next time they have to realize that even if they've got good backs who can make breaks, and they did score 2 tries from their wingers, but if their forwards are not giving them the platform, if the line out is not functioning well, if the scrum is not functioning well, then they are in deep trouble.
Yes, indeed. And let's have a look at the points table at the end of the round 1 for the segment 1A.
Yeah, we've got St.Thomas's at the top there, unbeaten, and deservedly so. I thought their best performance was this week. They've been getting better and better as time progresses. 26 points they have. Royal managing to get up to second place despite that draw with the win over Trinity. They're with 19 points, and they just shared their Bradby rivals into second place. Trinity also on 19 points. Wesley managed to come through, and they get to 4th position, so they stay in the cup competition. 14 points, 14 and a half points that they have, and really very close to the top 3 sides, Sabir, because they lost only by 2 points and 3 points to Trinity and Royal. So that's going to be an interesting top 4 to go through. St. Joseph's, despite that big win, unfortunately not able to get enough points to go through into the cup competition, and DS without a win, they're coming in the final, in the last position there. But they're not a bad side, and I think they will trouble the likes of Kingswood and Dharmaraja.
Yes, we have previews coming for the second round games, that is on the 28th and 29th weekend of this month. So long 3 weeks break. During that, in maybe 14th week, we have Bradby and a few more trophy games coming in. And do join us for all our previews. That's all we have for the segment 1A roundup. Do join us on the segment 1B.